Hello, everybody. We are going to be going live at 8 o'clock sharp. This is part 1 of Journey Through Soul Healing with the Limitless Lady. We're going to be jumping in and talking about the power of forgiveness. So I cannot wait. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hello, everyone on Instagram and on Facebook. I hope everybody is having an awesome new year. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining. All right. Hello, Trina. Hi, Jay. Thank you all for joining. All right, we're going to get started here in a couple minutes. It's about 7:58. We're going to get started right at 8 o'clock. We got some good stuff for you tonight. Jumping into part 1. We cannot wait. Part 1 of Journey Through Soul Healing, the power of forgiveness. It is going to be an epic 2019. So I'm just so excited that you're all here and all here for this journey. It's going to be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Awesome. I hope everybody is having a wonderful new year. Hi, Kasia. Kasia is joining us on Facebook. How are you doing, sweetheart? Hope everybody's having a great start to the new year. Did everybody have a good holiday? I hope everybody got rest. They're relaxed, they're rejuvenated, and they're ready to jump right in. We are going to have a great conversation tonight, so just stay tuned. We're going to get started here in about 2 minutes. So thank you all so much for joining in. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Is everybody ready for Friday? It was a very short week. Celebrating the first week of the new year. Cannot wait to jump into 2019. We are going to make this week epic. Epic, epic, epic. Awesome. We got some people joining us on Facebook. Hello, everyone. If you've already joined, go ahead and say hi. Tell me where you're joining us from. I know we've got Kasia here in North Carolina joining us on Facebook. We've got Trina. We've got Jay. We got Miss Chris. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are going live on Instagram. You can follow me at The Limitless Lady. You can also follow me on Facebook at Dr. Mary Hemphill, The Limitless Lady. So make sure that you're following on all the social media platforms, and so that you don't miss out on any of this awesome information. We have such a great support group with the Limitless fam. So it's so super exciting. Okay, Kasia, good. I'm glad to see you're doing well, my love. All right. If you haven't already, go ahead and shout us out. Tell me hi. Tell me where you're joining us from. All my Instagrammers and my Facebookers, thank you so much for joining tonight. We're going to go ahead and stop the music. It is 8:01. We are going to go ahead and get started. We're going to jump right in. This is going to be part 1 of the Journey Through Soul Healing with the Limitless Lady. And we are jumping right into this new year, 2019, talking about the power of forgiveness. All right. We got Ryan here. Hi, Ryan. Yes, we're ready to get healed. Let's do this. So first of all, before we get started, I just want to say thank you to my Limitless family First of all, your support and your encouragement mean the world. I have truly, truly been blessed through this journey. And since I changed my name from the Scholar Vlogger to the Limitless Lady, we have had such a resurgence, a rebirth almost, and people are just really getting on board, and you all are really loving the content. So we're going to keep it coming. We're going to be developing our limitless lifestyle. We're going to be talking about limitless leadership, how we can just show up in our own lives, and then how we can be limitless ladies and limitless gentlemen. Okay, because we are not limited by anything that society tells us that we should be, could be, or would be. If you have set your mind to something and you have a destiny, you have a vision in your head and in your heart, we're going to go after it in 2019. So I'm going to start off by saying Happy New Year. I hope that everybody had a wonderful, wonderful holiday, and that you spent time with family and friends, and that you were just able to just heal, and that you were just able to just relax and just have fun, and that you brought in 2019 with style. Now, let's jump right in, because it is going to be the best year of our lives. I put on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, and I said, if you're living the same year on repeat, then you're just existing. Okay. And there's a difference between living and existing. There's a difference between going through the motions of living or going through the motions of life and just existing. You have to say, what is going to take me to the next level? And this process of soul healing is so important, because just as we make New Year's resolutions and we say, hey, I'm going to lose weight. Hey, I'm going to eat right, and I'm going to have healthy habits, and I'm going to make sure that I diet, and I'm going to make sure that I walk or I run, or I'm just going to eat better or whatnot or what have you. Why are we not doing the same maintenance on our spirits? Why are we not doing the same maintenance on our minds? Why are we not saying, hey, these are the steps that I need to take to exercise my faith muscle? So that's what soul healing is about. A lot of times when we start a diet, or we start saying, okay, I want to eat right, we detox, right? We get these detox teas, and we drink hot lemon water in the morning, and we do all these different things. Soul healing is literally detoxing your soul, detoxing your spirit, detoxing your energy, so that you can make room for all the visions, all the goals, all the dreams that you have. Because if you don't detox your spirit, you've got sludge. You've got backup. Everything is not rolling right in there and internally, and you get clogged up. So we have to go through this process of soul healing. And what better time to start than right now? Today is the third day of the new year, and start this process of becoming unclogged, of cleaning out our spiritual channels, and just really saying, hey, I need some new energy, because there's some stuff that I've gone through. There's some stuff that I've seen. There's some stuff that I said. And you guys, I don't care if you're joining me from Instagram, Facebook, wherever, whatever walk of life you came from. If you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're rich, if you're poor, if you come from Upper East Side, or if you come from the Lower West Side, we all go through stuff. Okay. Nobody is immune from going through the stuff that life throws at you. So whether it's positive or whether it's negative, we all have gone through stuff. And some of that stuff has left us bitter. It not only leaves us bitter, it leaves a bitter taste in our mouth when we talk about those situations. It leaves a bitter taste in our mouth when we think about those people. It leaves a bitter taste in our mouth when we see those people or think about those things that happened. And so that's where forgiveness comes in. The power of forgiveness is so strong, because it's literally saying, I forgive my past. I forgive you for what already happened, so that my future can be clean and clear, and I can have as much integrity and as much clarity as I need to be able to do the things that I want to do. No one is immune from being hurt. We all have been hurt. I have been hurt before by friends. I've been hurt by family. I've been hurt by colleagues. I mean, nobody's immune from being hurt. We all have been frustrated, by things that have happened in our lives, whether it was a relationship that didn't go right, maybe it was a job that you didn't get, maybe it's a project that you started and it just failed. And no one's immune from doubt. But the big picture is that the process of forgiveness and the power of forgiveness can take you to such new levels mentally, spiritually, and physically. And that's what we're going to jump into tonight. We're going to talk about the power of forgiveness. And so I want you to just ask yourself, have you ever said, how do I forgive someone who hurt me, someone who abused me, someone who disappointed me, or someone who betrayed me? Like, how do I even start the process of forgiving this person? And a lot of times it's a person that you loved. It's a person that you trusted. It's a person that you cared for. It's a person that you invested in. How do I forgive them for what it is that they did to me? How do I forgive them for the way that I came out of this situation? Because I went in that situation one way and I came out different. How do I begin to forgive them? And then how do I move forward, especially when that person doesn't think they did anything wrong? And that's very difficult. How do I begin the process of forgiving someone who is going on through the rest of their life and they are living their day to day with absolutely no regard for the fact that I am still here hurt? I still feel betrayed. Every time I'm around them, I still feel frustrated. How do I begin the process of forgiving them? What happens if I don't want to forgive them? Like what effect or what impact does that have on me if I do not want to forgive them? And then what are the benefits of forgiveness mentally, socially, physically, and spiritually? Okay, so we're going to answer all those questions tonight. And then when we get done, after we go through these steps and after we talk a little bit, I'm going to open it up for questions and answers. So if you have any questions, make sure that if you're following me on Facebook, go ahead and go down to the comment section. If you think of questions while we're talking tonight, while we're discussing, type those in and I'll make sure that we get to those tonight and answer those. And if you're following me on Instagram, please make sure that you follow me and ask those questions as well. Okay. All right. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to talk about some of the benefits, and I want to start with a personal story. And I really want to talk about something that happened to me about 2 or 3 years ago, and it happened with a very close friend. I was with her for many, many years, and actually she was one of my mentees, and she ended up asking me, she came to me and she said that she was sort of in a financial situation, and she was in between jobs, and there was no way that she could pay her phone bill. And so a lot of times, when you have friends and when you have mentees and you want to help them out, you start to think, okay, well, I really want to make sure that I can kind of help this person or whatnot or what have you. And she was kind of giving me, all the ins and outs of what was going on. And so I said, you know what, don't even worry about it. I'm going to put you on my phone plan, because it's much easier for me to put you on my phone plan and for me to just pay like what, $19.99 or $9.99 a month, rather than me to just pay your phone bill every month, because I wanted to help her out. And she was just starting her career, great young lady, super bright, super intelligent, all these different things. Well, I ended up, we went over to Verizon, put her on my phone plan, whatnot, or what have you. Ended up getting her a phone or whatnot, so she would have access and a new number and all that good stuff. Well, things were great for like the first 2 or 3 months. Everything was wonderful. Everything was great. She was sending me the money. This is before Cash App. So Cash App has saved a lot of lives, a lot of relationships, I'm sure. But this is before then. So she would send me the money 2 or 3 months. Everything was great. About the 4th month, my bill came due and she just was nowhere to be found. Like, I would text her, no response. Call her, no response. Email her, no response. And it was almost like between that 3rd and 4th month, she just fell off the face of the earth. Well, meanwhile, she's still using her phone. We're still racking up a bill, all this good stuff. And so I started to get like very frustrated, especially after about the 6th month, still hadn't heard from her, nothing, no phone call, no contact, no nothing. About the 6th month, I go on social media one day and it pops up a picture of her laying on the beach in the Bahamas. Oh, okay. Well, Okay, so we're in the Bahamas, but we can't pay our phone bill. Okay, heaven help us. So this is where the humanness of me, okay, this is where my human nature starts to kick in. I start asking myself the questions. I start to say, okay, well, why is she able to do this, but she can't do this? I started to get super, super frustrated every time I would see her name pop up on my social media feed or think about it, or every time I would tell somebody, about what was happening. Like, I did this for a friend. Look at what I did, trying to be selfless, and look, it ended up biting me. And so it was all this frustration, all this anger, all these questionings. And of course, I had made up 100,000 stories in my mind about what was going on, about why she wasn't contacting me, why she wasn't paying her phone bill. And so it ended up being like a year before I heard from her. And I ended up having to pay the whole entire bill, pay off her phone, all the late, like everything was just starting to accrue before I finally had to just like wipe my hands of the whole entire situation. And it was almost like I never healed from that situation. About a year ago, I got a message from her on Instagram, and she DM'd me and she said, Mary, I want to just say I'm so sorry for ghosting on you and for not holding up my end of our bargain. She said, I was going through a really rough time and I was really embarrassed that I wasn't able to pay you, and I didn't know how to tell you that I wasn't able to pay the bill. And instead of just asking for help, I just figured it would be better to avoid the situation altogether. And she was like, what I ended up happening is I ended up losing a great friend and a great mentor. So here I am sitting here thinking to myself, I have made up 100,000 stories about what I thought had happened. I had literally written her off as a friend, as a mentee. I had completely abandoned my duty as a role model. I had, told everybody who would listen about how great I was and how selfless I was for doing this thing for her and helping her out. And meanwhile, she's over here, going through the struggle, but not able to tell me. She didn't know how to approach me. She didn't know how to say it. She was completely embarrassed. And when I think about the fact that I almost lost a great friend, I almost lost an opportunity to mentor because I didn't forgive, I just messaged her back and I said, I forgive you and I love you. Immediately. When I say immediately, it was almost like our friendship just picked right back up from where it was on the day that, maybe it was the day that I had last spoken to her. It was almost as if that channel had been reconnected and we picked up right where we had left off. And we just started to talk about the time we had lost, what had happened when we weren't speaking to each other, what had happened, in the midst of us being, and how we almost lost the opportunity. Because if she hadn't reached out and I hadn't had that opportunity to forgive, I just don't think that we would be where we're at now. And granted, a lot of times reconciliation and forgiveness doesn't always happen that way. It's not always sometimes something beautiful that you can tie up with a nice little bow and say, oh, I forgive you, and then let's pick up right where we. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that. But what I'm telling you is that unforgiveness that I was holding on to for almost a year, that unforgiveness, it literally had something inside me that was broken. And I had a physical, ephemeral reaction every time I would see her or think about, how dare you be in the Bahamas and you pay for this trip and the flight and all that and everything, but you cannot pay this phone. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm expending my precious energy and time writing a narrative that was never even true. And then I almost lost a friend. So when you talk about the power of forgiveness and you talk about the opportunity to forgive another human being, there's so many other things that are happening in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, when you hold on to that unforgiveness and when you take it to the next level. Miss Pris on Instagram just said, that's awesome. You were ready for marriage. Yes. Marriage is a relationship in which you have to learn to forgive the other person. And whether you're talking about marriage or whether you're talking about friendship or whether you're talking about a professional relationship, when you enter into a covenant, an agreement with someone to have relationship with them, and again, whether it's a romantic relationship or whether it's a friendship, you're coming together and saying, I got you. I want you to be your best self, and I want to be my best self. And forgiveness is a part of that. So there's a couple verses that I want to just start with. Matthew 6:14 through 15. It says, "For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive you your trespasses." So let's wipe the slate clean here. I'm married. We got Jay on the line. We got Miss Priss. We got Derek. We got Ryan. We got Keisha. We got all these people online. How many of us are perfect? Not nary a one of us. All of us have done something that we needed forgiveness for. And if our Heavenly Father can forgive us for the things that we have done, the things we have thought, the things that we have thought about doing, or the places we've been, or the people that all those things, if He can forgive us for all of that, why can't we extend a little bit of the forgiveness that we want for ourselves onto someone else? Nobody on this earth is higher or mightier than anyone else. And so if God can forgive us for all of the things that we've done wrong, and I know nobody is keeping a list of all the things that we have done wrong, or all the things that you've done, but if God can forgive us for all those things, especially when we didn't know any better, and we're like, God, please forgive me for this, please forgive me. But we can look at somebody and literally hold on to a grudge, or hold on to that little seed of unforgiveness for years. Then how is that being our best self? How is that saying, you know what, whatever forgiveness and whatever grace and mercy that God has shown us, I can't extend it to you because you're not worthy. Nobody has the power or the right to do that. And again, it goes back to your detoxing. When you're holding on to that unforgiveness, that seed is growing, and you're watering it with strife. You're watering it with hatred. You're watering it with frustration. And it's just growing and growing and growing. So if God can forgive us for our trespasses, if God can forgive us for all of our mistakes, and say, listen, when I see Mary, I don't even see the mistake. I see her the way I created her, okay? When I see Ryan, I see him the way that I created him, okay, in my image. And He can forgive us. We can take that little seed and we can dig it up and we can throw it out and begin to forgive other people. Now, one of my favorite verses when it comes to the power of unforgiveness is Matthew 18:21 through 22, which says, "Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, 'Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me?'" Okay. Now here's Peter having a conversation with Jesus, and he's like, okay, just give me a number. Throw a number out there. Once you throw that number out there, I'm going to get it. I'm going to be ready. Because then he says up to 7 times. And we all know 7 is the number of completion. Up to 7 times. Is that how many times I should forgive them, Jesus? Because I can deal with 7. 7 is cool. 7 is a real comfortable number. I'm good with 7. And what did Jesus say? Jesus answered and said, "I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times." All right. So pause. Let's hit the pause button. Like 7 is real good. 7's real comfortable. I can do 7. I can forgive somebody 7 times. And normally in our humanness, what are we doing? Somebody does something. Okay, that's 1. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm done with you. Okay. A lot of us, and I'm guilty of it too, a lot of us have had the spirit of, hey, look, #done. And we'll cut somebody off in a heartbeat. We will forget your mother had you. But what does Jesus say? Jesus says 70 times 7, which means forgiveness is a cycle. It is an everyday habit. It should be like breathing. And y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, forgiveness is not easy, especially when you have somebody and they just keep making this mistake. They keep frustrating you. They keep letting you down. They keep doing these things to you. And it's aggravating. But let me tell you what happens when you forgive them every single time, 70 times 7. Your faith muscles get so strong. Your willpower gets so strong. You become so strong in your faith. You become so strong and you start putting those channels back together, and you start detoxing, and you're getting healthier, and you're getting cleaner, and your spirit is renewed, and you are so super positive that you are ready to receive everything that your destiny, everything that your vision has for you, because you forgave them again and again and again and again. I think about athletes. Athletes do not go, if you are LeBron James, okay, and trust me, okay, I am engaged to someone who absolutely loves LeBron James. LeBron James practices his craft on a daily basis. He practices those areas where he is not good. He practices those areas where the game before he was weak. If you are dealing with unforgiveness and you are really struggling with why you should do it and really struggling with how this forgiveness is really going to help you and grow you, that's what you need to practice, because the more you practice it, the better at it you're going to become. And it's soon going to become a habit. It's going to become like breathing, and you're going to find that your life overall is so much better. The quality of your life, literally the world will look so different once you start practicing the power of forgiveness. Okay. Now, a couple things. Forgiveness is not for you. Okay. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's not for their benefit. You are not forgiving Tyrone, okay, for cheating on you for Tyrone's benefit. You're forgiving him for your benefit. Because regardless of what Tyrone did to you, if he cheated on you, if he lied on you, if he harassed you, if he did this, you're not forgiving him because it's for him. You're forgiving it because it's for you. Because who is the only person you can control? Yourself. You cannot make Tyrone forgive you. Tyrone has to go on this journey of soul healing for himself, and he has to see what he has done and the benefits or the repercussions of his actions and how they have affected you. So forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for yourself. And because you control your destiny, your mind, your actions, you can't control someone else's response to what happened. You can control how you go through it. You can control how you grow through it. And so when we start talking about the power of forgiveness, this is truly about a journey that you are on with you. Okay? A journey that you are on with you. So let's talk about the steps. All right. The first step, acknowledge that it happened. Acknowledge that it happened. Acknowledge that the incident happened. Okay. However, don't waste your time giving the unforgiveness life. What do I mean by that? Something happens. Take my story with the cell phone. My friend got her a cell phone. She ended up not paying. Y'all, I called my sister. Girl, let me tell you what happened with somebody at work. I cannot believe this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm having. The mailman. Did you know that this is what happened? Listen, every time you go through unforgiveness, every time that you're experiencing that incident, every time you relive it, every time you tell it, every time that you write it down, every time that you talk about it, it is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And in our humanness, what do? We embellish, and we're giving it life. Okay? What happens to a fire when you cover it up? It's distinguished. But the more oxygen you give it, the more air you give it, the more breath you give it, the bigger it becomes. So acknowledge that it happened. Acknowledge that that person hurt you. Acknowledge that that person harassed you. Acknowledge that that person did you wrong. Acknowledge it. But do not waste your time giving it more life than it deserves. Because the more you fan that flame, the bigger it's going to be. And soon it can completely disintegrate, and you're not going to be able to extinguish those flames in your life. Okay, so that's the first step. Acknowledge that it happened, but do not give it life. The second thing, and y'all, this is huge. You have to take responsibility for your role in it. All right. People say there's 3 sides to every story. Your side, my side, and God's side. Okay. But there are 2 types of people in this world. Okay. When you acknowledge your role in anything, it could be something positive or something negative. There's 2 types of people. There's window people and there's mirror people. Window people look out the window and say, that is definitely Susie's fault. All of this is happening is Susie's fault. Susie hurt me. Susie talked about me. Susie wrote that comment on Instagram about me. Susie talked to so-and-so about me. Or you can be a mirror person. And when you look in the mirror, the person that's looking back at you is you. And you can say, what did I contribute to this incident? What did I contribute so that I can acknowledge my role in it and so that I can frame how easy it's going to be to forgive myself for what it is I did and forgive Susie so that I can move forward and release that forgiveness so that I'm not clogged up anymore. And so you have to ask yourself, are you a window person or are you a mirror person? And to be honest, it's harder to be a mirror person than a window person. But if you're a mirror person, you're constantly looking at your reflection and saying, how can I get better? Other people are not going to be responsible. When you look through the window, other people are not going to be responsible for your growth and your healing. Look in the mirror and say, what is it that I can do to heal? What is it that I did that I played a part in this and that I could have done better? And that's going to make that process of forgiveness so much easier, okay? So the first thing, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it happened. Don't give it life. The second thing, acknowledge your role in it. And the third thing, truly to create a new connection with an old story so that it doesn't affect your future. Now, I saw an awesome quote. Sometimes the things that happened to you in the past cause you to bleed on people that weren't present when you got cut. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes when you think about things that happened in the past, you bleed on people who weren't present when you got cut. What do I mean by that? You get cheated on by your first boyfriend, okay? Your second boyfriend starts to exhibit similar behaviors of the first boyfriend. And what do? You cheating on me? Who you talking to? Who you texting? What are you doing? Where were you? What time did you get home? What's her name? How do you know her? You work with her? Have you ever thought about her? Do you think she looks cute? Like, literally, you turned into an FBI agent because somebody hurt you before. You're bleeding on your new boyfriend because your old boyfriend did you wrong, okay? Or let's take, for example, a friendship of somebody who, frustrated you, or somebody who just talked about you like a dog. Then you say to yourself, you use this excuse, I don't make friends real easy. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't trust a lot of people. You're missing out on great networking opportunities, and you're missing out on fantastic people who want to be a part of your life because one person did you wrong. You're literally walking around bleeding on people who were not there when you originally got cut. And it's not their fault. If you don't take this third step to make new connections with old stories, you're going to have a future that looks very bleak. You're literally going to miss out on some of the most amazing friendships, the most amazing networking opportunities, or a great love because you have not forgiven what happened to you originally. And that's not fair. Let me tell you who it's not fair to. It's not fair to the man or woman who is praying to meet their soulmate. It is not fair to the man or woman who is praying for a good friend, somebody who is grounded and somebody who's not going to be a yes man, who's going to love them through their mess. It is not fair to the employer who is looking for someone like you to walk into their office and apply, or to send your resume or cover letter. And because you are walking around with distrust, because you are walking around frustrated, because you are walking around and you have just assumed that everybody in the world is out to get you and everybody in the world is like this one person who did you wrong, you're missing out on a life well lived. Okay? The power of forgiveness will take you across a bridge that will take you right to your destiny. Okay, so I want you to think of a bridge right now. I want you to think about you're right here. Okay, your destiny is right here. Your destiny is right here. If you walk around with unforgiveness, there's a gap in your bridge. Your destiny is over here, and you're right here. The forgiveness is what's going to bring that bridge down and take you from where you are to your destiny. whether that is the next great relationship, whether that's the next great insightful moment, the next great idea, whatever you're supposed to have, that unforgiveness is stopping a lot of us from getting to where it is that we need to be. That unforgiveness is physically making some of us sick. It is bringing depression about us because we don't trust people. We don't have any friends. We believe we're meant to be single because of what one person did. If you do not get out of the car, go and do some work to build a foundation, lay some brick and mortar, make sure that thing is sturdy, get back in that car, put that thing in drive, and go across that bridge to where you were always destined to go, you're going to stay right where you are. You're going to stay depressed. You're going to stay frustrated. You're going to stay doubting yourself, and nothing is going to change if you do not exercise forgiveness. Now, that forgiveness, it doesn't have to be a grandiose thing, okay? You don't have to get on Facebook and write an open letter to your first boyfriend back in 2007 when you were in the 3rd grade and be like, Tommy, listen, I forgive you for going under the monkey bars with Tamara. Like, you don't have to do that, okay? Forgiveness can be a very quiet, powerful, individual conversation between you and God. Write it down in a journal, or just say to yourself, say out loud, because faith cometh by hearing and hearing by the word of God. Say to yourself, I forgive Destiny for what it is that she did to me, because God already knows. You already know. Remember, every time you tell it, you don't have to give it life. I forgive them. And you can literally release it. You can literally let go of that. You can literally and figuratively, it doesn't have to be a grandiose thing. Now, some conversations, it will be. You might need to text that person and say, hey, I need to talk to you. Can we call? Can we text? Can we DM? Can we go live? Can we do something? And say to them face to face. Sometimes forgiveness causes you to do that. And you have to look them in the eye and say, I forgive you. And sometimes they're just waiting on you to say it so that you can move on with your life. It's okay. So the 3 things. First thing, acknowledge that it happened. Don't give it life. You don't have to fan the flames. It doesn't have to get any bigger to the point where it just disintegrates your whole being. Okay. Second thing, you have to take responsibility for what happened and your role in it. Are you a window person, or are you a mirror person? And then the third thing is you have to create a new connection with an old story so that your future can be bright, so that you can get across the bridge to that destiny, so that you can go and achieve everything that it is that you were meant to achieve. All right. So we got Trina. Trina said, I needed to hear that. Thanks, Boo. You are welcome. I hope so. I hope this is helping. I hope this is helping someone. Again, we're going to start with questions and answers here in a second, but I just want to wrap up by talking about what are some of the benefits of forgiveness physically. What are some of the benefits? Listen, improved mental health. You guys, nobody knows. Nobody wants to be around an old bitter Billy or old negative Nancy. Not in 2019. We literally don't have the time our energy to be sucked out of us because you're telling your story of unforgiveness everywhere you go. I pick you up because we're going to the movies, you're telling your story. We go work out, we're walking on the trail in the park, and you're telling your story. Listen, forgive. Get that mental health going. Set yourself up to be positive in this new year and get going with forgiveness, okay? Another thing, less anxiety. You literally have a physical reaction every time you're around someone you don't like. You all know what I'm talking about. Some of us start getting sweaty. We start rolling our eyes. Our stomach starts hurting. Y'all, that's like not natural. That is a physical reaction because in our minds, we have told ourselves we literally don't like this person enough to where I physically am reacting to what is happening. Okay. So that's important. So you have better mental health, less anxiety. You're less likely to suffer from depression because what did I say? Sometimes one friend can do us wrong. And then we say to ourselves, well, I just don't have a lot of friends, or listen, that can lead to depression. These thoughts and the different things that you start telling yourself, that leads to depression. Also, healthier relationships over time. What did I just talk about? Sometimes we're bleeding on people who weren't around when we originally got cut. If you're in a marriage, forgiveness is powerful, okay? You're going to be with this person for the rest of your life. Forgiveness 70 times 7. If you have a friendship or a relationship or professional relationship that needs to be healed, forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships. And most importantly, overall, you begin to see the world for the good that is in it rather than the bad and all the negativity. You guys, I don't know about you, you can't log on to Instagram, you can't log on to Facebook without seeing something negative. So let's compound that negativity that we see on every time we end up on social media with all the negativity that we're carrying around. That leads to depression. And in order to really go through soul healing, you have to rid yourself. You have to detox and get that negativity, get that unforgiveness, get those feelings out and become clear and get clarity and really start to begin envisioning in Technicolor the destiny that you were always supposed to have. Okay. All right. So we've got some steps. We talked about the power of unforgiveness. We are starting this new year out right by getting rid of some of those things, by releasing those people and those incidents, those events that have occurred that are clogging us up, because y'all, we're living our best life in 2019. So I'm about to take some questions. I'm about to take some comments. Did this help? Did you benefit from this guy? I need to hear from you. And while I'm doing that, I want to tell you that this was only part one. Part one was the power of forgiveness. Part two, I'm so excited about. Part two, we're going to be talking about the difference between being lonely and being alone. Okay, being lonely versus being alone. And we're going to come back in 2 weeks, Thursday, January 17th at 8 o'clock. You do not want to miss it. In 2019, we've got to tackle the difference between being by ourselves, being alone, and what that means as we grow as people, as we become the limitless men and the limitless women that we were always supposed to become, and then really understand what the difference is between being lonely, because a lot of us are confusing the two. And so in 2019, we're going to maximize our time and we're going to maximize our relationships. So then we're going to talk about the difference. So Thursday, January 17th, 8 o'clock, you do not want to miss it. Part two, being alone versus being lonely. Share this video, okay? We want to get the word out. We want to grow the Limitless family. We want to make sure that our Instagram family, our Limitless ladies and Limitless men, and on Facebook, our Limitless ladies and Limitless men are benefiting from this. Trina said, I needed to hear that. This was very helpful. Thank you, Trina. Awesome, awesome, awesome. My wonderful Facebook family, we're getting some comments here that it really, really benefited them. Thank you guys so much. Listen. Take the steps to live your limitless life, okay? This is your life. There are no limits. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody does, it all starts here. If you believe that you are limitless here, you are going to start to manifest a limitless life. You're going to be a limitless leader. You're going to show up for yourself. I do not care if you work at McDonald's or if you are the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It starts here. Okay, you can be limitless wherever you are, whether you're in the classroom or whether you're in the boardroom, all right, or the living room at your house. You are limitless. You are not limited, all right? Comment below. Truly, truly, truly take these steps and start to exercise them in your life. I want to hear from you. Was this helpful? What are some other topics and things that you want to hear about? I truly believe that the power of forgiveness is really going to unlock some things that have clogged us up for way too long. We are not going to just exist this year. We're going to live our best lives. We're going to live our limitless life. We're going to be truly limitless. I want you to remember, it is your life, no limits. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great night. Bye, you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, Trina, we're going to live our best life. Yes, ma'am. Here we go. Thank you all for joining on Facebook. Thank you all so much. Miss Prince, thank you so much. Oh, she said this was great. Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you all. You guys are fantastic. I thank you so much for supporting. Let's go have a great first week of 2019. It is your life, no limits. We'll see you guys January 17th, Thursday at 8 o'clock for part 2 of the Journey Through Soul Healing. I love you. Bye-bye.